anything.
I went back in the studio and I said to him, I'm sorry for what I'm about to do to you. And he's like, what do you mean? And I punched him in the face as hard as I could. And I said, you better focus now, dude, because you could pull this off.
Start doing the song. All of a sudden, the sky turned bright purple.
After I did that, it started pouring outside. Like pouring, thunder, lightning, craziness.
The sun was just gone. Rain was pouring down. They're just like, this is the greatest day of our lives. We have to do this. It's going to be the greatest thing ever.
He hit that song one take straight through. No punch-ins, no overdub, no nothing.
So we went in there, and the song turned out amazing, and that was the ambiance for the whole session.
It was just like the whole, like as if every single world came aligned, and everything was perfect. And he did that song perfectly.
It was pretty amazing. And we all just sat back and were just like, whoa, pretty cool.
Impressed by what My Chemical Romance had recorded, Alex decided the band were worth a gamble and used his credit card to fund a longer recording session.
Alex called me and he said, you know, we should do the rest of this album. We should get up there and do a couple of weeks. So he said 2 weeks would be enough. I said, sure, 2 weeks should definitely be enough. Little did I know, it definitely wasn't enough, because the time that they got there, once we started the session, it was trouble from day one. Good trouble, though.
That recording process was probably the most insane, troublesome recording processes I've ever been through in my life. And I've worked on at least 70 records. Gerard had this, we thought he was losing his mind.
He was in pain the entire time he was recording. Nobody could understand what was going on. Once we started doing the vocals, he would get in there and just sing for like 5 minutes at a time, double over in pain. He was, I can't do this anymore.
He was having these pains in his head, bad pains, where I remember walking into a room and hearing him smashing his head against the wall, screaming in pain. So I brought him to the emergency room. He said, there's nothing wrong with him. I loaded him up on painkillers. The next day, same thing again. Pain was more intense.
Finally, all of a sudden, we just hear, like, what the hell was that? We go over, we look, and there's Gerard. He's on the floor. He gets up, and he's just like, I think I just passed out, man. So we're like, so we don't know what the hell's going on. So we had to call the ambulance, because he was the whole time just freaking out.
So then it got really bad on the third day, where I came outside and he was physically smashing his head in the hood of my car, crying and screaming in pain.
Ambulance gets there, they take him away. We're worried to death. We're like, what's going on with this guy? He's messed up.
His vocal performance on that record is so distraught and sincere, and you just feel every emotion on that record. Like, you feel every single word that he says. And I think him being in so much pain at the time has a lot to do with why it pulled off that well.
Get the diagnosis back, it was just an oversized toothache. The guy was just in pain from his toothache the entire time. That concludes Gerard.
The atmosphere in the studio soon became emotionally charged.
It was amazing because a lot of bands are in the studio and they're playing video games and they're just kind of waiting for the whole thing to be over, and they just get everything done, especially on a first record. They just want to get it technically perfect. There was something different up there when they were making the record, to the point that Gerard sang through the end of the song and Ray was crying because he was so moved by the vocal performance and by the emotion that was in there. And it was, the whole session was like that, where it was just like everyone was so involved and just blown away.
His voice, first of all, was definitely one of the things that blew everybody away. The things that he could do with his voice, how he could make himself scream, how he could go back into singing. And not many people can do that, not without losing their voice very quickly. And he had a stamina that just went for, well, until he passed out.